Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's super important, but often overlooked in language learning: how to talk about your feelings in English. Expressing emotions is a huge part of connecting with people, whether it's with friends, family, or colleagues. But let's be honest, it can be tricky, even for native speakers. So if you've ever felt stuck trying to explain how you feel, you're in the right place. We're going to break it all down, from basic vocabulary to more nuanced phrases, so you can communicate your inner world with confidence. Let's start with the basics. You probably already know happy, sad, and angry. These are great, but English has a rich vocabulary to be more specific. Think of it like a spectrum. Instead of just happy, are you feeling joyful, elated, content, or pleased? Joyful or elated suggest a very high level of happiness, maybe because something amazing just happened. Content is a quieter, more peaceful kind of happiness, like when you're relaxing with a good book. Pleased is what you might feel when you get a good result on a test. For example, you could say, "I was so elated when I heard the good news," or "I'm feeling content with my progress this month." Now let's look at the other side of the coin: sadness. Instead of just sad, you might be disappointed, heartbroken, miserable, or gloomy. Disappointed is what you feel when things don't go as you hoped. For instance, "I was disappointed that the concert was canceled." Heartbroken is a very strong word for deep emotional pain, usually from a loss or a breakup. Miserable describes a state of intense unhappiness, like being sick in bed on a sunny day. And gloomy? That's a great word for when you feel down and pessimistic, maybe because of the rainy weather. Try this. "This gray weather is making me feel a bit gloomy." Next up is anger. It's a powerful emotion, and English gives us many ways to describe it. Beyond angry, you could be annoyed, frustrated, furious, or irritated. Irritated or annoyed are for small things that bother you, like a fly buzzing around your head. Frustrated is the feeling you get when you're trying to do something but you can't, like when you're stuck in traffic. "I get so frustrated when my internet is slow." Furious, on the other hand, is extreme anger. You'd use this for something serious. She was absolutely furious when she discovered he had lied to her. See how using a more specific word paints a much clearer picture? Okay, let's move beyond the big three. What about fear and surprise? Instead of just scared, you could be anxious, nervous, terrified, or petrified. Nervous is what you feel before a public speech or a job interview. Anxious is more about a general feeling of worry about the future. "I'm feeling anxious about my upcoming exams." Terrified and petrified mean extremely scared. You might be terrified of spiders or petrified during a scary movie. For surprise, you can say you're astonished, amazed, or shocked. Amazed and astonished are usually for positive surprises, like seeing a beautiful landscape. "I was amazed by the incredible view from the mountaintop." Shocked can be for good or bad news that is completely unexpected. Now that we have more vocabulary, let's talk about how to build full sentences. A simple and effective structure is "I feel" or "I am" plus the adjective. "I feel optimistic about the future." "I am confused by these instructions." But to sound more natural, you can add adverbs to show intensity. For example, "I'm a little tired," "I'm quite worried," or "I'm extremely excited." These little words make a big difference. You can also explain why you feel a certain way. This is key for deeper communication. Use conjunctions like because, since, or when to connect your feeling to a reason. For example, "I feel relieved because I finally finished my project." Or, "I get nervous when I have to speak in front of a large group." Another great structure is using "it makes me feel," for example, "it makes me feel happy when I see my friends." Or, "loud noises in the morning make me feel irritated." This is a fantastic way to express your emotions without always starting with "I." Let's explore some common idioms and phrases that native speakers use all the time. If you're very happy, you could say you're on cloud nine or over the moon. For example, "when he proposed, I was on cloud nine." If you're sad, you might say you're feeling blue or down in the dumps. "I've been feeling a bit down in the dumps since I heard the news." When you're angry, you might see red or be ready to blow your top. For example, when he scraped my new car, I just saw red. And if you're nervous, you might have butterflies in your stomach. I always get butterflies in my stomach before a presentation. Using these idioms will make your English sound much more fluent and natural. But a word of caution, use them in the right context. Now, let's practice putting it all together in a conversation. Imagine a friend asks you, "How are you doing?" Instead of just saying, "I'm good," you could say, "Actually, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I have so much work to do this week." This opens the door for a real conversation. Your friend might then ask, "Oh no, what's going on?" And you can share more. Or if you're feeling great, you could say, "I'm doing fantastic. I'm so energized because I started going to the gym again." This is so much more engaging than a simple "fine." What about asking others how they feel? You can go beyond, "How are you?" Try asking, "How have you been feeling lately?" Or, "You seem a little down. Is everything okay?" This shows that you genuinely care. If someone shares their feelings with you, a good response is to show empathy. You can say things like, "That sounds really tough," or "I can imagine that must be frustrating," or "I'm so happy for you. That's wonderful news." Acknowledging their feelings is a powerful way to build connection. You don't always have to solve their problem. Sometimes just listening is the most helpful thing you can do. Remember, talking about feelings can be vulnerable. It's okay to feel hesitant. Start small. Try using one new feeling word a day. Maybe write it down in a journal. For example, today I felt frustrated because I missed my bus, but later I felt content when I had a cup of tea. This personal practice can build your confidence. You can also practice with a language partner or a trusted friend. The more you do it, the easier it will become. And please remember, it's always okay to not be okay. If you're struggling with difficult emotions, talking to a friend, family member, or a professional can make a world of difference. Your mental health is important. So, let's do a quick recap. We've expanded our emotional vocabulary beyond the basics. We've learned how to structure sentences to express our feelings clearly, add intensity with adverbs, and explain the reasons behind our emotions. We've also touched on some common idioms to make your English sound more natural and discussed how to have empathetic conversations about feelings. The key is to practice. Start paying attention to your own feelings and try to name them in English. The next time someone asks how you are, challenge yourself to give a more honest and detailed answer. You'll be amazed at how it can deepen your connections and improve your fluency. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you found this lesson helpful and feel more equipped to share your feelings in English. What's one new feeling word you learned today? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your responses. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our future lessons. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.